What is one thing you have never tried and have no desire to ever try? Piercings for my dick. Hell no, keep that sharp shit away from me. How about soft piercings? Swimming under the ice of a lake. Not even for the sword of Gryffindor? Is this a thing people do? Scuba diving in caves. The thought of not being able to surface is terrifying. I love swimming, grew up next to the beach and have dived a lot, but being unable to head vertically up for air makes it a definite no-go for me. Scuba diving anywhere for me. I know the odds of something happening to me are slim to none, but once I'm in the water all I can think about are sharks. No. Can't even go into the ocean ankle deep because of the fear. I'll never forget the time I was diving with this cheap-ass dive shop. I was like 15, and while following the guide, we just went into a big-ass cave. I had my junior open water, not overhang or anything. Next dive with that company turned into a wreck dive, crawling through tiny areas near deadly lionfish and rusty nails. It was hella dangerous and I was scared, but it was also the two best dives of my life. Cave diving. Get turned around and your fate is frantically looking to retrace your path as your oxygen runs out and you eventually drown. There's enough things that can go wrong with diving. I don't understand wanting to take away the ability to go to the surface quickly if necessary. I like the one story guy told where they accidentally kicked up dirt from the bottom of the tunnel, and then couldn't see shit at all. Pro tip, do not go to the surface quickly. Potholing, exploring them underground caves with the tiny gaps you have to squeeze through. Literally had a panic attack watching the movie The Descent because of tight cave spaces at the beginning. I would get stuck and never be heard from again. Tried this with friends years ago. They loved it. I was so uncomfortable the entire time and kept crying due to being so overwhelmed. 10/10ths couldn't pay me to do it again. Autoerotic asphyxiation. That shit kills a lot of people every year. I tried it once. It took my breath away. Bungee jumping. I know it is safe. I know nothing will happen. I won't try as I'm just too scared nevertheless. A broken rubber brought me into this world, I'm not letting another one take me out of it. Did it, would never do it again. You do right to avoid it. Surströmming I do however enjoy watching YouTube videos of people eating, and uneating, it. Uneating this was grossly funny, thank you. What is it? Sounding. Jesus fuck, I wince every time I read that word. A non-horrific definition please edit, thank you, I now know. No more please, I'll never forget what sounding is for the rest of my life. A pee/shit fetish where the girl shits/pees in your mouth, what the fuck? I don't get this fetish at all, like why? It stinks, it probably tastes awful. I literally don't get it. I'll never forget the Reddit tale of the guy who was super into that fetish. He watched a bunch of videos of it. Then he hired a gal to doody in his mouth hole, only to realize at the exact instant that turd touched tongue that he was, in fact, not into it after all. Scatblade. Just, no. Ski by dibby dibby dub dub. Not sure I want to ask, but I sincerely have no idea what that is. Care to elaborate? Rip the band-aid version, please. Deep sea diving. I don't like water where I can't see my feet. Because of this my brain irrationally believes there is a Jaws all around me at all times if in deep water, thus it makes me basically go 0 to 100 panic attack. I have zero interest in this, and so I never will. I'm a dive master. I did my course in Madagascar. One of the last deep dives was a deep blue dive at 120 feet, 40 meters, you couldn't see the surface, or the bottom, and everything around you is just deep blue. I actually really enjoyed it, but most of the time deep dives don't spend much time in those sorts of situations. Usually you're diving to get to something, like a wreck. I've never had a scary experience underwater, but for some reason I'd rather night dive the ocean than dive a murky freshwater lake. I watched a video about just how deep the ocean is and it gave me nightmares. Incomprehensibly deep. Shudder. Skydiving, fat man plummeting towards the earth just doesn't sound appealing. Edit, thank you for appreciating the joke about my weight enough to, nuke my inbox. Accidental atomic bomb joke. Ah. Fat man down. I repeat, fat man down. Incest. What are you doing, step cobra? I tried it once, and it was a motherfucking nightmare. Fugu. Japanese puffer fish. Expensive delicacy. The tetrodotoxin the fish produces and stores in a bladder has to be carefully excised by the fugu chef or else it will invisibly poison the diner. Hard pass. I don't care how long the chef has to study under a master fugu chef before being allowed to serve customers. I don't care if the flavor of fugu induces instant orgasm. I'm not rolling those dice. Every description of the flavor I've seen calls it mild or delicate, which are polite ways of saying bland. I'm not down to risk my life for a culinary experience that's basically on par with a filet-o-fish. Funny story, I was in Japan right before COVID shut everything down, and on our last day tried some fugu from the department store food court. Keep in mind most department stores in Japan have extremely high quality food even in the food courts, but the whole experience was just meh. Kind of chewy, and an overall underwhelming experience. Balut, meth, and spelunking. What's balut, precious? Eating live animals. Not a vegan, but people eating live frogs, octopuses and other small creatures are straight fucked. What, you don't like the thought of slimy tentacles covered in stomach acid wriggling around in your belly trying to make their way back up your esophagus? Excuse me people, what? Shoving a pineapple up my ass? Yeah. Hanging out with Hitler dressed as a French maid to go along with it is not at the top of my list either. 3 guys get captured by a bunch of tribesmen to be sacrificed to their god. However, they have a chance of escape. They each have to go into the forest, search for 10 of a fruit and come back to the village. The first guy comes back with 10 apples. The chief then informs him that he now has to stick all 10 of them up his ass. If he pulls a face or makes a sound, he gets sacrificed. He starts to get to work. As he gets to apple 4, he yells out in pain and is promptly thrown into the sacrificial chamber. The second guy comes back with a bundle of grapes. Same deal. He is inserting them, one right after the other. Then, on the 8th, he bursts out laughing, then is thrown into the chamber. Appleman then asks, "You were so close. Why did you start laughing?" To which Grape Man was like, "I saw the other guy come back with 10 pineapples." Finn. Second marriage. Once was more than enough for me. Just out of curiosity, how long ago was the divorce? I got divorced about 2 years ago and I'm still in your mindset. Just wondering if it fades with time. Write a note to yourself about how happy you are these days and the minor things that used to be nightmares are simple again. I was married for 13 years and got divorced this year. One note I wrote said, "No one will give you a hard time about how slow you put the dishes away. Even if you end up dating someone later in life, keep these notes handy." Swinging/cuckolding. Watching my wife getting nailed by another guy is the stuff of nightmares. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the replies, and my first awards too, thank you. I don't have anything against the lifestyle at all, it's just not for me. I've turned down 4 threesomes in my time, all of which have involved the so at the time. Even the opportunities with my so and another girl, whilst very tempting, just felt potentially ruinous. Or when my so offers me a threesome with another girl, my brain just says it's a trap. Say no. Same dude. It's unnervingly popular amongst my friend group. But, I could never. I don't care how hot the girl I would get to fool around with, nobody is touching my wife. Plus, I don't want anyone but her anyway. Just seems like a bad idea. I mean, I've seen it work for some people and I don't judge them at all. I'm perfectly content in my monogamous relationship too. I agree. On a similar note, threesomes. I'm the least jealous girlfriend ever, but I know the minute I'd see that girl laying next to me have my boyfriend suck her nipples before mine, I'd go Irish. When I was single, 2 friends of mine who were engaged to be married asked if I was interested. I was flattered with the way they asked me. We both think you're beautiful, so hot, honest, and we could totally trust you with _ but after I slightly pondered it, I gave them the most polite thanks but no thanks. I really don't think I'd ever be able to handle it. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.